So I don't know about you, but I feel like I inhabit a very contradictory place in my base makeup. I'm someone with oily combo skin, but I don't want to be mattified all of the time. I want to have a skin-like base, but I also want it to be long-lasting. And a lot of times those two terms of skin-like and long-lasting are not compatible, right? Especially if you have combo oily skin. A lot of times the more radiant, dewy, skin-like products are the ones that are sliding off or sliding around on your face like an hour later. So I've been playing around and I feel like I've finally arrived at the perfect concoction of long-lasting but skin-like makeup, especially if you have a similar skin type to me. And that involves skincare as well as makeup, which is why I'm coming at you completely barefaced today. I just washed my face because the skincare products matter just as much as the makeup products. So I'm gonna give you all of my tips and tricks, everything I've been doing lately to get that long-lasting but beautiful, real skin kind of look. All right, just pulled my hair back and pulled you in a little bit closer so you can see the skin. This is my bare skin, nothing on it. I have to say that starting with good skincare and starting with sheer hydrating layers is an essential part of a skin-like and long-lasting makeup routine. For me, I need to work in sheer, watery, hydrating layers that sink into the skin but don't leave too much emollients behind and don't leave too much product on the skin. Especially because I'm someone who's prone to shininess by midday at least. I need products that are going to plump up the skin and quench the skin, but that aren't going to be too greasy. This video is sponsored by OSEA Malibu, which is one of my favorite skincare and body care brands. They create really beautiful products and formulations that are inspired by and include ingredients from the ocean. They also just have a really beautiful user experience, which is something that matters to me in skincare. And they also deliver really lovely results. So let me talk you through my AM routine of what I use from OSEA Malibu. So right after cleansing, the first thing I like to do is apply their Hyaluronic Sea Serum. This is a hyaluronic acid-based serum, so it's going to plump up your skin, it's going to hydrate, and it's gonna give you that like juicy skin look without being greasy or oily. So it comes in this gorgeous like frosted glass bottle. Just gonna take a couple of drops between my fingers, and I'm just going to apply that. It feels super cooling, very calming. Obviously, I'm under very bright lights here, but you can already tell this is giving me that really juicy, glowy skin look. Next up, we're giving our under eyes some love. Now, if you're like me and you have under eye puffiness or just fine lines that you want to plump up a little bit before makeup, you should try this. This is their latest launch. It's called Ocean Eyes, and it's an eye serum. I really like eye serums for AM skincare. Sometimes eye creams can be a little bit too heavy and a little bit too greasy and emollient around the eyes for concealer or whatever makeup you're going to put there. I really like going in with serums because I find that they absorb quickly while also delivering hydration. So this is really cool because it's a metal roller ball tip, and so it feels really cooling as you're applying it. It's really soothing, and even the mechanical movement of rolling out the under eyes can help reduce puffiness. And for me, that's my primary eye care concern. I wake up with puffy eyes if I'm tired, if I've had too much sodium, if I'd had too much sugar. That's just where all of my sins reveal themselves. And this includes some of my favorite ingredients like hyaluronic acid, peptides for anti-aging, as well as OSEA Malibu's signature ingredients, Undaria and red algae, which are both extracted from seaweed. It's not something that you want to apply to your eyelids. It is specifically formulated for the under eye area. And then I'm sealing everything in with the Seabiotic water cream. Now, I'm very picky with daytime moisturizers because, again, I don't want heaviness on the skin, but I also want deep hydration. I don't want something that's going to leave my skin parched looking throughout the day, because actually combo and oily skins are also often dehydrated. Sometimes your skin is actually producing more oil to compensate for the lack of hydration that's in the skin. A water cream is one of my favorite kinds of formulas because it delivers that long-lasting hydration without being heavy or tacky on the skin. So this is what it it looks like. It's a beautiful blue water cream. I'm going to take about a pea-size amount and melt it between my fingers. I love the feeling of a water cream on the skin, and it's a perfect texture in summer. This is among the more hydrating water creams I've tried, so I actually think this is a cream that works not only for combo and oily skins, but also for normal and dry skins as well. And then lastly, you want to finish off your skincare always in the summer, especially with SPF. I'm going in with one of my current favorite Korean SPFs. It's by the brand Sunteak, which is a new discovery to me. This is the I'm Vegan Sun Serum SPF 50 plus PA4 pluses, and I love the texture of this. Basically, you just want a lightweight texture, and that's what I really like about this SPF so far. It just sinks in, doesn't leave a white cast. It uses advanced chemical filters, and it plumps up the skin and doesn't leave anything behind. It's completely traceless. While that's sinking in, I want to talk about real quick two of my favorite body products from OSEA Malibu. So, you know, it's summertime, we're wearing shorts, we're baring our legs, arms, whatever, you're at the pool. So two of my favorite products are the OSEA Malibu Dry Brush, as well as their Undaria Algae Body Oil. And this will summon the fancy spa vibes. Let me just demo this for you real quick. You want to start with your dry brush and work upwards from your wrist upwards toward your shoulder. Same thing with your legs. You want to start from the bottom and work upward. This is a great way to manually exfoliate the skin, especially those areas like elbows and knees that get a little bit crusty. And then I like to follow that with the Undaria Algae Body Oil. You pump it out. It smells so good. It has this really bright, fresh, citrusy quality to it. So I love to apply this on bare legs or bare arms before I go out. I feel like it gives you that sexy, like J-Lo skin kind of look. So skincare is done, just sheer hydrating layers. While my SPF is setting, I like to actually wipe the product off of my eyebrows. And I like to go in with my clear eyebrow gel first, because I actually find that if I apply my brow products after foundation, that's when they get goopy, especially brow gels. They get goopy and they like pick up and look white, and they actually pick up the pigment of the foundation. So right now I'm really into my Benefit 24-hour brow setter. It's an old school, oldie but goodie. It just does the job of creating that laminated eyebrow look without, without lifting or doing any funny business throughout the day. So I just kind of coat all of the brow hairs first, because it starts out kind of liquidy, and then you start to feel it set and get a little bit tackier, and then I just comb the brows into place. So let's talk foundation. This might be a bit polarizing, and it's a bit of a choose your own adventure. I've tried everything. I've tried skin tints, I've tried lightweight foundations, concealer only, and for the most long wear skin-like makeup look, I have realized that using a small amount of long wear mattifying foundation over a hydrated base is the best combination for me. And I've landed at a very surprising place, which is Estee Lauder Double Wear. I know, it's very old school, and if you've ever tried this, you know this stuff lasts and lasts and lasts. It also doesn't break up, and it looks skin-like over time. It is easy with a foundation like this to over apply, which is why I'm back on the beauty sponge train, and lately my current favorite is the Thrive Cosmetics beauty sponge. There's just something about the hydration that a damp sponge lends, as well as the actual mechanical act of pressing it into the skin, that helps sheer out the foundation in a more lightweight way, I think, a lot of times than you get with a brush. Don't get me wrong, I love my makeup brushes. There are definitely brushes out there that will give you a skin-like look, but I've just been really into the sponge lately. So I won't lie, I have a few different shades of Double Wear. I have 2 W2, 2 N2, and 3 W1.5. Today I'm mixing 3 W1.5 Fawn and 2 N2 Buff just to get my perfect shade. Sometimes I find that the warm shades are a little bit too orangey, but I still want that golden undertone, so I mix in the neutral. So I've got my combination here. I'm gonna mix that up with a finger. I can already tell you this is way too much product. I'm going to need like a third of this. So I take the butt of the sponge and I'm really going to work it just on one corner. I'm really going to work it into the sponge. You want it to look even on the sponge itself to give you an even application on the skin. And then I'm lightly, with like a feather light touch, tapping it on. You are not even going to see a lot of product at first. And that's what you want, because I actually want a really sheer layer all over the skin. And then I'm only going to apply concealer and add coverage where I need it. For me, I have a lot of redness and pigmentation on my jawline, so that's where I like to focus coverage. The other thing that I've had an issue with lately is foundation lifting up under my sunglasses, like my nose pads. And I've tried everything. I've tried all of the primers, and I've realized the best way to avoid that is just to avoid applying product in my T-zone as much as possible. Avoiding product there altogether is really the only way to prevent, those 2 dots of foundation that lift up when you take your sunglasses off after you've had them on for a while. It's the worst. In order for the avoiding the T-zone trick to work though, you need to have a foundation that's a really good shade match, because if your foundation does not match your skin and you're missing like a center patch of foundation in the center of your face, it will be really noticeable. So for me, that's why I mix these shades of foundation to get my perfect match. I know it doesn't make sense for everyone to have multiple shades of the same foundation, but for me, if you're like me and your skin tone changes a lot throughout the year, like I tan very quickly in the summer, it does help to have a couple of shades around. So I've done one very sheer layer of the Double Wear foundation with a sponge, and look how much product I've used. I mean, I've used, I told you, like 20% I think of what was on this palette. It's truly just a little bit distributed in a very thin layer. Then I'm going to take my concealer. This is my Armani Power Fabric, and I'm just going to apply only where needed, avoiding the nose bridge area. Oops, that's fine. So I'm just going to apply in the hollow of the under eye where I have the most like blue tones coming through, as well as the outer corner. Turning the sponge over for the pointed edge, I'm just going to keep it very, very, very focused in that area. I don't want it to go all over the place. I don't want it to migrate across the nose bridge. I just want to color correct basically any blueness or purpleness under that area. And I really love the point on this sponge. I find it's really great for getting in that tear duct area without spreading the product too much. Then I'm going to take like a little flat pinpoint sort of brush. This is the Real Techniques 332. I'm going to dab a little bit of foundation only where I need it, and I'm actually going to use this brush to spot conceal. You can do this with your foundation or also with a skin toned concealer that matches your face tone, not your under eye tone, because a lot of times you go brighter with your under eye. You want to stick with your exact match so that it doesn't look very obvious. And I'm just going to add a bit more coverage on areas where I want it. This can be a little bit time consuming, but I would much rather do this and have product only where I need it than have a really full face of cakey makeup. I just think this is much more of a real skin kind of look. Just a few things to note in terms of places to avoid too much product. Like I mentioned, the nose bridge. For me, I also avoid applying too much product in my nose crevice. That's where things can get cakey because product really gathers in that little fold. So I actually avoid too much product there altogether. If I need a little bit of coverage, I will cover around it or use a very, very small brush like this just to lightly dab a tiny, tiny bit of product where needed. I just don't want to risk having that cakey look. And this is one of those areas that reveals cakey makeup first. So that's it for me with my liquid base products. I'm now going to powder, and I'm going to use a sponge with a translucent powder like the Kevyn Aucoin translucent powder. I really like the Thrive Cosmetics sponge because it's round, it's teardrop shaped, but it also has a flat edge, you can see. So I actually take this flat edge and I work a little bit of powder, like even that might be too much, and then work it into the cap. And what this does is it allows me to powder without applying too much product. Powder is one of those things that is very useful, but once powder melts down with primer, with foundation, with natural oils, and with sweat, it can be one of those products that actually leads to cakiness. In the long term, the more product is on your face, the more product melts down. I like to take this and I just press a very light amount through the T-zone, across the cheeks, across my nose bridge, just everywhere that I need a little bit of help. So that's half my face done with that little bit of powder. I didn't dip into it again. And you can see this side is very shiny. This side is still skin-like, but it's definitely a little bit more under control. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, and that dampness will really help sort of meld the product into your skin without it getting too cakey and without over-applying. So that's the base done. I'm going to move into cheeks and I'm going to do what I like to call the powder sandwich. So what that means is that I've put my translucent powder down. Then I use cream cheek products, a very thin layer of cream cheek products, and then I top them with powder cheek products. I know that sounds potentially like a lot of product, but actually when you're working in very, very thin layers, it creates a lot of longevity and really locks those products in throughout the day. So I'm using my Persona multi-stick bronzer in Sahara, which is their medium shade, and I'm just using a fluffy round brush. This is the Sephora 90. I think it's discontinued, but you could use any brush for this. And I'm going to lightly tap directly from the stick, and then I like to diffuse it on the back of my hand. And then I'm just going to lightly contour and sculpt the face. And you don't want to smear here. You really want to tap, 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 and don't over apply. Just start with sheer layers. For contour, for me, I actually like to focus on the cheekbone rather than under the cheekbone. I actually find that helps lift the face, and I work it up into my temples, and that just gives me the most flattering contour look, I think, for my face shape. Same thing on this side, working in really sheer layers. Keep it on top of the cheekbone and sculpt upwards. And then I'm just sweeping across my forehead and into the hairline where the sun would naturally hit. Then I'm going to go in with a thin layer of cream blush. I'm sticking with Persona just because I really love their cream cheek formula, but they came out with blush shades. I've swatched them for you. So that's Teddy, that's Bubble, and that's Kiss. And these are obviously very full pigment swatches, but they all sheer out to a really beautiful flush of color on the cheeks. I might actually use a combination of Teddy and Bubble, just so I can show you what they look like on the cheeks. I'm actually gonna use the same brush. I just like wiped it off on a little microfiber cloth. And I'm going to pick up a little bit with the brush again and then stamp it across the back of my cheekbone. This is a really pretty natural blush look. For me, it doesn't look too much like I'm wearing blush. It's a really neutral shade and it sort of goes with every eye look. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit of Bubble, not too much. Again, work it into the back of the hand. And then this time I'm going to go a little bit closer into the middle of the cheek. You can see there's like hardly any product there, but that's what I like. This is one of those shades that looks really scary in the tube, but when you apply it to the face and onto real skin, it's just really fresh and youthful and fun. That's the cream cheek products done. If you want to apply a liquid or cream highlighter, now is the time to do so. I actually don't find that I need one necessarily in the summer because, as you can already tell, I'm dewy and I applied that hydrating skincare and I just like the natural sheen of my skin coming through. But if you have dry skin or you just want that extra shine, definitely go for it here. For the second half of the powder sandwich, we're going in with powder cheek products just to lock everything in. So I really love my Victoria Beckham Beauty bronzer. in 02. This is the second deepest in the line. There are 5 or 6 shades. You get one lighter neutral shade and then one warmer shade that's a little bit deeper. So you can really customize this to get the kind of look that you want. I'm gonna take a very, very fluffy brush. This is my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Wand Ball Powder. I'm going to very lightly tap it onto the pan of the lighter shade and then diffuse the product through the brush. And then I just tap. I tap over where I would typically apply bronzer. Think of it as applying setting powder for your bronzer. Then I'm going to take my powder blush. This is the MAC Glow Play powder. It's like a powder cream hybrid. This is the shade So Natural, which is just a beigey rose. It's a little bit warm and I think it will go with this look really well. And same thing, really pat your brush into it and then lightly pat across the cheeks. Just whatever's left on my brush, I like to sweep across the forehead for just a natural, cohesive look. So that is the powder sandwich. I know that's a lot of products, but we've used very, very tiny amounts, layered in thin layers to kind of seal in the look while maintaining a skin-like appearance. So I'm going to finish off my eyes. I'm just going to keep it really simple and neutral today, and I'm going to come back before we finish everything off with setting spray. So that's the makeup done. I used my Patrick Ta Major Dimension 1 just for a bit of warm nude mattes throughout the crease. And then I used my Bodyography glitter pigment in Celestial, just like smeared all over the eye. I love this for a sort of glossy, wet looking eyeshadow. It's just a one and done, very easy. And I have the Rare Beauty mascara back in my life. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite long wearing mascaras that just creates really wispy, feathery, fluttery lashes. For lips, I used the Esam Nude Lip Pencil. This is dual-sided. I used the lighter side, and this is super long-lasting. I was actually out at an event this week, and my friend Gabby was like, "What is on your lips?" Because that lip liner has not moved all night, and we were eating and drinking and hanging out and talking for several hours, and this lasts. So I have to mention that. And then I just topped it off with a little bit of the Make Beauty Serum Balm Intense in the shade Nude Nova Plus, which is a beautiful, just everyday kind of shade. To seal everything in the last step of the base routine, which is a very important step, I'm going to use setting spray. Any kind of long-lasting setting spray is great for this. So the Urban Decay All Nighter is a classic. The Skindinavia setting sprays are amazing. This is the one I have on hand. It's the Bodyography Ready, Set, Go Makeup Setting Spray. So I am just going to take this and do a sheer layer and make sure that you are getting all different planes of your face. So that is my long-wearing but skin-like summer makeup routine, and specifically my summer base routine. I know that it's a lot of steps, but it's something that really works for me, and it's very adaptable, I think, to your skin type. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll meet you there. And thanks again to OSEA Malibu for sponsoring this video. I will link them below in the description box along with everything else that I used, and I also have a 10% off code for you that you will see in the description box as well. If you do decide to give these tips and tricks a try, I would love to hear what you think, or if you have any tips that you use for long-lasting summer makeup. Let us know in the comments as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!